Nintendo just held their final Indie World presentation for 2020, and some of these can be very hit or miss for me. I enjoy some of them a lot, I don't enjoy some of them. It really just depends on the games that they decide to show. Well, Nintendo showcased a lot of games today, including a big surprise at the end that should make a lot of people happy. But what other games were involved in this? What other games do I think look a bit interesting? That's what we're going to find out in this video. What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's talk about the Nintendo Indie World Showcase for the end of 2020 and why RGT might be sus. So kicking things off, we have Splunky and Splunky 2, which just recently came out on the PlayStation 4, coming to the Nintendo Switch in summer of 2021. Now, pretty much roguelike games. A lot of people consider these to be the grandfather of the roguelike genre. And yes, the original Splunky and Splunky 2 will be coming out on the Nintendo Switch in this summer. There's local and online multiplayer for Splunky 2. Splunky 1 does have local multiplayer. And you know, like if you like these sort of games, I think it's going to be one of the better games in the genre. I'm not really a fan of these styles of games anymore. I'm kind of burnt out on them, but I will say that I love saying the title of this game. Splunky! Spelunky! Spelunky! And it's coming out in summer of 2021. Next up, we have one of two cat games for the Nintendo Switch. I guess the cat genre is becoming a thing with Fluffs, and really this is a very strange cat game. I'm actually allergic to cats. Cats don't really like me. I remember when I was like 5, I was at my grandma's house and I went to find her cat Cleo, and I went under the couch and Cleo scratched me in the face, and ever since then it's been pretty much downhill. They make my eyes water, they make my nose, you know, run as well, and eyes get all scratchy and itchy. But this game doesn't look too bad, honestly. It's kind of like a Power Stone style of gameplay, but with cats and like cats battling it out. So I don't know, you can customize your cat. There's going to be local and online multiplayer in this game as well. It will be coming out in early 2021. Maybe I'll end up checking it out. Next up was a game called Very Valet, in which you play as a valet driver in an over-the-top party game. Looks kind of like what Overcooked does for like food games. This is going to be a valet game. I guess the valet genre is a new genre. Looks okay. I don't really have too much to say about it. It comes out in early 2021, however. Tonchi was actually a pretty interesting looking game. It's a game based on basically like Amazon rainforest and sort of Mayan mythology and whatnot that looks a bit in terms of gameplay like a Vanillaware game as far as the hack and slash elements are concerned. There's a bunch of different characters that you get access to that all have different attacks and abilities. There's going to be spells in the game as well. Has sort of a unique looking art style. I think it looks decent. I think it definitely has some potential. I am interested sort of in, you know, how big the world itself is, because that's one thing I really like about Vanillaware games. But this is a game that will be coming out in March of 2021, so not a huge wait for Tonchi. One of the standout games from this was Cyber Shadow, which comes to us from Yacht Club Games. That will be coming out on January 26th. Honestly, this game looks a lot like a Ninja Gaiden slash The Messenger style of game, but I mean, that's cool. Ninjas are cool. 8-bit aesthetics are cool when they're done right. And let's be realistic, Yacht Club Games is pretty much the king of the 8-bit aesthetic. You can unlock new abilities for your character, and in the Nintendo Switch version of the game, you can actually scan a Shovel Knight amiibo, which will give you some additional power-ups in the game as well. I think it looks very well done. It looks very polished, and I think it's going to be an awesome game. Definitely a game that I will be checking out, as I am a fan of these styles of games. And like I said, this game will be coming out on January 26th. Next up, we have Calico, the other cat game in this. Like, what the hell is up with cats, man? Like, I get it, you know, people like cats, but what about dogs? Like, I'm a dog person. I think dogs are cool. Can a cat play fetch? I don't think so. But this game, you like run a cat cafe, and it looks like you steal cats from around the area or something and fill them up in your cafe while you customize your character as well. Definitely not a game for me. You know, I will never touch this game, but, you know, you might like it. So I just wanted to mention it. The game is available later on today on your Nintendo Switch, so Calico, get the cats going. Yay. The next game was a game called Alba, a wildlife adventure. I'm not quite sure what you do in this game. It seems like you're like trying to rescue sick animals that are on this island and basically save this island. I don't quite know what we're saving this island from, but I do think this was, in terms of presentation, one of the better looking games during this event. It has a really good graphical style that I really liked. I liked all the colors and the high-res textures and whatnot. It looks like a very polished game. I'm not quite sure when this is coming out. I actually didn't write it in my notes when this game was coming out, but I do think this game has potential. I just need to sort of like get more information on it. Gungonosia? I don't know. It's a visual style game in which time loops and like you play it in like 5 to 15 minute bursts and like get an ending, but then you have to play it again because time is looping and the Gungonosia is like trying to kill people on a ship or something. I don't know. Sort of like, you know, those 777 vibes from this game, and you know, games like that in that sort of visual style. Looks more like a darker visual style game. So I'm not huge on visual style games. I'll probably end up passing on this one. It does come out in early 2021, and yeah, I don't know, if you like these styles of games, you might be interested. Next up was a game called Happy Game, which is a psychedelic horror game. You have like weird dreams and have to solve puzzles. Like, I'll be honest with you, my dreams are weird enough as they are. I don't need to have a game telling me about weird dreams, because I feel like then I will dream about stuff like this, like massive happy faces and trying to solve puzzles in order to stay alive. No, not for me, but you know, you might like it. It comes out in spring of 2021. Super Meat Boy Forever will be coming to the Nintendo Switch on December 23rd. And if you've ever played a Super Meat Boy game, they're hard as hell. I never really liked them because they're just so hard. Like, the whole point of the game is that they are hard, and it's a 2D platformer, and like you just keep trying over and over and over again. It's like the Dark Souls style of game, you know, where you have to be consistently repetitious with your games in order to figure out what you need to do. I have no patience for things like this, but I do know that the Super Meat Boy series is a well-loved series by a lot of, I guess, sadists who just like to torture themselves, and Super Meat Boy Forever will be coming out on the Nintendo Switch on December 23rd. Grindstone is a puzzle game that I have absolutely no interest in. Kind of has a Flash style of animation as well. It does have daily challenges and whatnot, so if you like these styles of games, I mean, might be something you want to check out. This game will be available later today for your Nintendo Switch. Then we got a sizzle reel of some indie games. The first game was a game called When the Past Was Around. No thank you. It definitely looks like one of those, you know, games for impact, as Jeff Keighley likes to call them, you know, just those games that I am not really super interested in. There was a game called Cosmocrats, which was a weird space game that I didn't really understand. HOA, Homeowners Association, was a 2D action platformer game that, you know, looked okay. Hazel Sky, this was probably one of the coolest looking games of this presentation, like a 3D platformer with lots of cool elements going on to it. I wish that this wasn't a part of the sizzle reel. I want to see more of Hazel Sky. Give me more Hazel Sky. I'm on the Hazel Sky bandwagon. Then there was a game called Trash Sailors, which is like a game where you're on a raft, I guess, like looking for trash and blowing crap up. I don't know. It actually looked kind of cool. I definitely like the art style. And Finding Paradise, which looks like a 16-bit RPG. Definitely has sort of the original Phantasy Star series before they went to the online sort of stuff. It has that Phantasy Star aesthetic to it. So I don't know. That could end up being a cool game. And the final game was definitely a big surprise. And I guess I'm going to be forced to play this stupid game now. And that is Among Us is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Everyone seems to love this game. Everyone seems to play this game. And I mean, I guess it would be cool. Everyone's going to assume that I am the killer anyways, like in the first round, because just my whole life, people have always assumed like the worst about me. And I'm like, why? I'm not that bad of a human. But I could definitely see this game being a lot of fun. Obviously, it is very popular among streamers. I will not be streaming it or anything like that, but I might play some of it with my friends. And yeah, you know, it's a super popular game. Definitely a big surprise. And it's coming out later today on the Nintendo Switch. So what overall did I think of this Indie World presentation? I thought it was decent, but it wasn't something for me. You know, indie games go over a huge wide variety of different genres, and there's so many different types of indie games out there that, you know, when you're talking about specific games, especially in a format like this, if some of these games don't hit with you, they don't hit with you. And that's one of the cool things that I like about indie games, is just the massive variety that they bring to the table. So for me, this presentation didn't really do much at all. All these these cat games and things like this. Obviously, Cyber Shadow was a standout title. Hazel Sky, like I said, I definitely want a lot more information on this. And Among Us is definitely a huge announcement and very cool thing for Nintendo Switch owners. But all the other stuff just didn't really hold my interest whatsoever. But that's okay. I don't think it makes it a bad presentation. It just makes it a presentation that's not for me and not focused on me. Now you have to look towards the future, though, and know that with Nintendo's track record, after an Indie World presentation, within usually a 2-week period, we do get a Nintendo Direct of some sort. So could there be a Nintendo Direct at the end of December or potentially the first week of January, which I think is more than likely? At least in some way, shape, or form, I think there is going to be a Nintendo Direct presentation. You do have to remember that Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is coming out in February. They need to talk about that game. They need to say what the hell Bowser's Fury actually is. There are some bigger games such as Balan and of course Monster Hunter Rise coming out in March, so it's definitely time for Nintendo to start talking about these things. So I definitely think at least at the end of December, potentially the first week of January, we are going to see a Nintendo Direct of some sort. But overall, you know, decent little presentation. It didn't really hurt me to watch it or anything. Some cool announcements, but mostly it really wasn't for me. But let me know what you thought about the Indie World presentation in the comments section down below. Did you enjoy it? What games are you looking forward to? Are you a cat person and this was like, you know, your Christmas with all these friggin' cat games for the Nintendo Switch? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Check out other videos on the channel as well, and maybe I'll see you on Among Us. And no, I am not the killer. I am not the killer. Or am I? I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.